Hey there, my name is Rob Knight, and here at the start of 2018, there's a few photography tools that I'm really excited about, and that's kind of rare. You know, a lot of the stuff that comes out in the photography industry is incremental steps, small improvements over the last model, and a lot of people wait until 3, 4, 5 generations to update anything, and that's usually just fine. And it's pretty rare that a product comes along that changes the way that I actually work. And a friend of mine introduced me to this product at the Photo Plus Expo in New York last fall, and Ian mentioned that I've got this great thing. It's called the Gnarbox, Gnarbox, and he said, yeah, it's really cool. It's a hard drive, and you can actually edit 4K video on it. And my first thought was, because if I'm going to edit video, I'm going to use even my iPad, but I'm probably going to use my computer, and I'm not going to do that in the field. You know, when I'm in, the more that I travel and shoot, the less that I edit on the road. And yes, I like to post things on social media while I'm in the field sometimes and that sort of stuff. But the last thing I want to do if I'm in some strange location or even someplace I've been before is sit in front of my computer. You know, I want to be out. I want to be talking to people. I want to be hanging out with my clients or my friends or meeting new people on the streets or whatever. I want to participate in my travels. I don't want to sit in front of my computer in my hotel room. So for me, the fact that you can edit on this is not a big deal. However, I started looking into what it's capable of, and I came up with a workflow that's totally new, and it's sort of the workflow that I've always wanted to have on the road. So that's why I'm doing this video. I want to explain how I use the Gnarbox, and this is not some unique magical thing that no one else is doing, but this is how I use it, and I think it's really effective. So if you haven't seen the Gnarbox, it's the size of a hard drive. This is a little portable hard drive I have here. So it's around the same size, you can see. It has built-in flash storage. This is 128 gigabytes. And it has these doors on the sides. Now this thing is waterproof. It's rugged. I'm not going to throw it on the ground, but I probably could. But it's waterproof. It has an SD slot, a micro SD slot, USB 3, regular USB, and then another USB micro port for charging. So this was designed, a lot of the marketing is towards drone photographers, which I am now, as well as still and video photographers. So that, you know, the micro SD slot is really handy when I'm importing footage from my DJI Spark. So okay, that's pretty cool, and I thought, well, if it's something that I can use to just download my images in the field, then that's fine. I have other tools, that hard drives with the built-in SD reader. Okay, cool. Well, it goes further than that. It broadcasts its own ad hoc Wi-Fi, so I turn it on, and then I can connect my phone, or I usually use my iPad Pro, and I can use that basically as the interface to see my images on the Gnarbox. That's cool too, but it goes further than that. One of the problems that I've had with any sort of on-the-road workflow is that I'm a Lightroom user, and so I keep my photos on an external hard drive, and I import them into a Lightroom catalog on my laptop. So if I take photos and put them on my iPad and edit them, that's fine. That's great, and I can put them on social media and that kind of thing. But then once I get home, I don't have really access to those edits on the computer unless I want to use I'm a Mac user, so I use the Photos app, and they are synchronized, which is great, but I don't use Photos. So if I want to do that, then I've got to go into Photos, export the pictures, and then import them into Lightroom, and it's just not a good workflow. So normally, once I get to my home computer, I don't even worry about the edits that I've made on the road. Those end up staying sort of on my phone or on my iPad, and they don't ever reach my desktop for any further use. So that's a pain. Well, so I'll just explain what my workflow is now with the Gnarbox. So I can plug in my external hard drive, which is the same drive that I'm going to use on my laptop or my computer at home, and that's where my pictures are going to live, right? That's where I'm going to import them to when I get home. Well, I can plug this into the Gnarbox, okay, and plug in my SD card, and then using my iPad as the interface, I can actually download the pictures from the SD card right to this hard drive, just like I would at home. Okay, well that is very cool, because then when I get home I don't have to move any pictures. They're already right where they're going to be. I just have to import that folder into Lightroom and everything's where I want it. That's really cool. Now the way that iOS works with the Files app now, I can open Lightroom CC on my iPad and I can import pictures using Files, right? Well, now the Gnarbox shows up as a file server and I can access this hard drive through Lightroom CC, and I can import my pictures into Lightroom CC without having to import the pictures onto my iPad. So I'm not taking up the hard drive space on my iPad, and I can edit my pictures on the iPad. I can use Snapseed or Photoshop or any other app I want. And when I'm finished, I can save it to this same hard drive in the same folder. Now, when I get home, I can take this hard drive, plug it in, import it into Lightroom, and I have not only my original RAW files and my JPEGs or whatever, but I have any edits that I've made on the iPad, anything that I've already shared on social media is already on this drive where it's going to go. So I don't have to move anything. I just have to import it. That's awesome. The other cool thing about the way that Lightroom CC works, even with Lightroom Classic CC, is that anything that you import into Lightroom CC shows up in a synchronized folder in your Lightroom Classic collections. So basically, once I do this workflow with the Gnarbox, it's super easy just to put everything on the computer at home. And any edits I've made in Lightroom CC, I can look at in Lightroom CC on the desktop. And any changes I make are automatically synchronized. And like I said, this is the workflow that I've always wanted. I don't have to have a mobile workflow and then to start that workflow over again when I get home into Lightroom. I can do my Lightroom workflow, whatever I need to do in the field, and then continue it when I get home. And that's the dream, right? That's what we want to do with any sort of mobile workflow. It sucks to have a mobile workflow and then a whole different workflow that starts over when you get home. So using this new tool, the Gnarbox, has allowed me to do that, and it saves me 5 pounds. I don't have to take a laptop when I travel now, so I can do everything. I can do all my presentations, all my classes are in Keynote right here on my iPad. I can use my HDMI adapter, plug it into a TV, plug it into a projector, whatever I need to do. When I edit my images in Lightroom CC, if I do a demo of that on the iPad, well, you can open Lightroom CC on your computer and the controls are all the same, the tools are all the same, it looks the same. So for me, as a traveling photographer, this is invaluable, and this is going to change the way that I shoot. So, if you see the Gnarbox marketing and you think, well, I'm not an extreme skier and I'm not shooting drone video, you don't have to, man. This thing might change the way that you work in the field. So let me know what you think of it, man. Leave me a comment. Shoot me an email if you have any questions at rob@robknightphotography.com, and I'll see you later.